Hi everybody, Paul Rose again here, or Paul Rose here. This is the second of two song surgeries, both done in quick succession. I've just done Kentish Town, literally 60 seconds ago, and I've just opened the Lonely Throne, and I'm going to go through this with you, and I hope you'll find it interesting. Same as before, my brother plays Roland V drums, and he has a copy of Superior Drummer 3, and he triggers the samples, and then he sends me a MIDI file, and then I write something to it. So this I wrote to a drum groove that he just made up. So it's kind of a collaboration. So we split the money 50-50. He gets nothing and I get nothing. So anyway, he's playing the Roland V drums here, triggering the Superior Drummer 3, and it sounds like this, okay? Listen to that. Now, what I do when I mix these are the Frank Filippetti's drum library, which is just the previous one, Kentish Town, which I just did, is the stock Superior 3 drum library. This is the Frank Filippetti drums called Stories, and he's an amazing drum producer engineer who's done some massive records. And he's recorded these drums for Superior 3, and they do sound great. So, absolutely beautiful. And in the previous, I used the Stephen Slade kick drum in place of the Superior 3 kick drum, but I haven't done that in this instance. I've used the Frank Filippetti. It's the entire Frank Filippetti kit. So let's have a look at what's going on there, shall we? Have a look at what's going on there. Okay, very simple, very straightforward. I have got the Studer A800 tape machine. Okay, and I've got this is a universal audio plugin, the tape machine. And then I've got the Acoustica Audio Sound channel strip, which is an SSL. And it sounds like this. It's just incredible how far drum sampling and programming has come. It really is just incredible. I've got a little bit of did I stick with the silver reverb on this? I think I did. Yeah, silver reverb, there you go. It's the Lexicon. It's the Lexicon reverb from Acoustica Audio, absolutely brilliant. I think Acoustica Audio are as good, if not better, than just about anybody else out there. But I will say that they eat up an enormous amount of your processing power. So you have to put your buffer as huge to keep your processor to prevent it from getting choked. You have to put your buffer numbers really high. I don't think Acoustica Audio are in the position to do what Universal Audio have done, which is to build independent processors to handle their effects. If acoustic or audio could build some processors that you could, like a PCI card, it would be great. So you can't track with them, you can't record with them because they take up too much processing. So you put them on in the mix. But that's all right. They work absolutely beautifully. So that's how the drums came about. We've got a chime here. You see, there's this little chime. Wild. That chime is to reinforce the break with the cymbal. Just give it a bit more sparkle. Okay, so let's have a look at the bass. What did I use on the bass? Let's have a look at what's on the bass. I froze the bass, so I've got to unfreeze the bass, which is now done. Right, this is from Plug-in Alliance. It's an Ampeg, and it's great. And I haven't done very much to that at all. I think I've got a compressor. Is there a compressor built into it? I don't know. But it's a lovely sounding amp. So, a bit of piano there. That kind of intersperses, reinforces the guitar line. As I'm sure many of you may well have heard me say, it's as much as what you take away as what you put in, and yeah. So if you're going to repeat something, it has to change the second time. It doesn't have to. You can do what you want. Attack me if you wish, but I won't take any notice. So you're going to have one melody, and then you're going to have the same melody. That second time, if it's just a copy and paste version, which is what most pop music is today, copy and paste, copy and paste, copy and paste, repeat, 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 repeat. I think we need to bring some things in, or even take some things away, which gives the impression of having brought something new in. And the fact that there was a change. Anyway, so there's also an organ in this. And it's kind of like, so again, really sparse. So there's the acoustic guitar. And what I did with the acoustic guitar is I recorded it in stereo. I recorded it twice. I used a microphone and I used a pickup. This is Paul Wilson's Taylor acoustic guitar, because I actually recorded this before the Loudon arrived. So I've got the acoustic guitar doubled, but it's panned to one side. It's a lovely sounding guitar, the Taylor. If you listen in stereo, you'll hear that the acoustic guitar's in one side, and the reverb's kind of over there. So it's like the microphone's over there. That's, you know. The reason I called it the Lonely Tango, and I hope I don't get attacked for saying this, because I can't be bothered with all of that, but the internet is a lonely place. Let's not beat around the bush. The internet is a lonely place. And I grew up in the 1970s and the 1980s, and I started playing in the 1980s, and it was all about bands, and it was all about a group and rehearsal rooms and gigs. And that's still where I am, you know. I am a lonely, I do the Lonely Tango on YouTube, but there's no substitute. I love this. I'm not putting this down. I love this. I love doing this. I love the colours. I love the buttons. I love the switches. I love the sounds. I love the compression. I love it. I love all of this very, very, very much indeed, and I will do it until I die, and hopefully that's going to give us plenty of time to continue. But yeah, but I think there's a lot of music done in isolation, lonely isolation, and it's a tango, the Lonely Tango. That's you know, I mean, okay, Beethoven and Mozart wrote music in isolation, but then they gave it to an orchestra, and they often conducted it, and they were present, and it was a, you know, so I mean, you got a genius Beethoven, genius Mozart who wrote in isolation, but the culmination of it was a group. It was a group thing. If they could get it played, if they could get a commission to get it played, and a lot of stuff's just people sitting by themselves playing music alone. And people sitting by themselves watching it and listening to it. It's not a group thing, and I think there's something to be said for the group experience of music. I think if you put a tiny little pair of headphones in, the music just vibrates your eardrums, tiny little vibrations in the eardrums. But if you've got a set of speakers, your whole body's vibrating. Like my hi-fi downstairs, I got Wharfdale speakers. And if you're in a room and you're having an emotional response to that music, physical emotional response to that music, and you're in a room with other people who are having a physical and emotional response to that music, then you're picking up that as well. So that's this massive thing that I think's been lost. There, I said it. And I think everybody knows that. It's kind of, it's circumstantial with the demise of the music industry as much as anything else. But it's also a lot to do with post-lockdown. Don't go there, Paul. Don't do it. Don't do it, Paul. Don't do it. Okay, so what have we got? We've got drums, we've got bass, we've got a bit of percussion a bit of percussion comes in later on. That's a sample. I didn't shake that tambourine myself. I love how that rhythm guitar's out of tune on that chord. Once you get a sound set up, you kind of don't want to go back and start trying and then drop a chord in that doesn't sound the same as the rest of the thing. I should have fixed it on the day, but I didn't. That is the Fender Telecaster with the Seymour Duncan pickups in, the Sunburst one with the white binding around the outside. See what a mess that is. So that's more or less that. You know, again, these are backdrops for the guitar to be up front. The guitar tells the story, and this is kind of the backdrop. You know, but I don't rush. I spend more time on the backings than I do on the lead guitars. Like 70%. I spend 70% more time on the backings than I do on the front line on the guitars. I mean, I play the guitar all the time, and I'm warmed up, I can do it quickly, and I don't like to labour over things and make them repetitive recitals. I like them to be fresh, and I like them to be interesting. So that's one reason to not spend a huge amount of time on the front line, as I call it. But the guitar, I've said this before, and I'll say it again. If you can play the guitar, you have to find a home for it. And that means writing songs, or being in a band with someone who writes songs, or writing your own songs, or writing instrumentals that are strong enough to carry. I'm not professing to be able to do any of that. I just do what I can do. But because I'm very conscious of the fact that I want to keep it interesting, and so I invest a lot of time. This phone's going off. My God, someone's sending us a lot of messages. Sorry, I'll just take care of the phone there. So I spend a lot of time on the backing tracks to make it quality. You know, what I'm interested in and what is my obsession and what drives me is quality sound, quality composition, quality performance, quality look. Want it to look good. That's what drives me more than anything else. It's what drives me more than anything else in this entire life of music. Quality sound, quality performance, quality compositions, quality musicians. Presented, recorded, mixed, mastered, filmed, edited, quality. Now, if I had £100,000, I could do better, but I haven't. So I use what I've got, and I love it. Shall we have a look at the guitars? What I'll have to do is this is the backing track, and I did the guitars in a separate folder. So I'm now going to close this, open the guitar file, and we'll pick it up from there. Okay, so what we've got here, you see this red file here, this red track here, that's the backing track. From what we were looking at earlier, I mixed that down into a 2-track and then put the guitars along with it because it saves processing power. I've got a massive processor in here and it wouldn't really make that bit of difference, but I just like to... Anyway, okay. So the orange and the yellow and the beige and all of that, these are all guitars. So first of all, let's listen to it. Telecaster, yes indeed. That Telecaster, that Sunburst Telecaster with the cream binding is an extremely brilliant guitar. Shall we have a listen, or shall we have a look at what's going on with that guitar? Okay, Amplitude 5. Surprise, surprise. And what have we got in Amplitude 5? We've got a compressor. Overscream, overdrive is off. These are redundant, don't need them, I can take them out. Got reverb and delay. Notice I haven't got that big cavernous delay that I was using in Kentish Town because it's a different flavour. So you hear that delay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. But then let's go left, right, left, right. So that basically is a compressor into a Fender Twin through a 410 cab with reverb and delay. It's all you need. It's all you need. Aha. I see, that's all you need. I've got a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of a Roland Brigade chorus. Very tiny amount. In fact, if I play you it and I'll take the chorus off, you'll see how little of it there is. Hang on a second, so I need to. Didn't think. 2, 3, off now. That's it, off. Back on, and. Very, very tiny, tiny, tiny amount of chorus out. You might ask why put such a small amount of chorus on. Because I think it makes a difference. Because I think it makes a difference. That's why. What happens after that is now, I hope you can see this blue line here. You watch how that, you got this white dot here, you see this? You watch that white dot will go to the left. Now, there, which has moved the Telecaster slightly into the left-hand side. Why did you do that, Paul? Because the Stratocaster joins it. And so I moved the Telecaster to one side to make space. The Strat's playing exactly the same thing as the Telly. Sounds like this. The Strat sounds like this. There you go. A little bit of chorus on there. That's the same amp settings. There's nothing changed in the amp setting. It's a duplication. But if you listen to the two guitars together, so the Telly's in the centre, and then they kind of separate like that, and the Strat appears. Yeah. There. I like that. Let's hear the whole thing. Up to that point. So that's drums, bass and guitar and acoustic. Acoustic's just playing the front of the bar. Now the second guitar comes in and that piano. Let's just hear that again, how that change happens. The organ returns as well, the Hammond organ returns, and the piano appears. That thing I was talking about, the complementary thing, you're repeating something, so you're adding something else to make it more interesting. So it actually sounds like a new part, although it's the same part. Now there's also a little Strat here, plays some kind of ornamentations. Now you look at the difference, it's the same amps, same speakers, same compressor. I've got the Uni Vibe on here. I've got the Hendrix Uni Vibe. That Marshall Governor is redundant, don't need it. Same reverb and delay as the rhythm guitar, you know. So it's consistency there, simplicity. So I mean, there's tweaks. There's tweaks. There's a little bit more reverb and there's a little bit more overdrive. There's a little bit more compression, but it's tiny increments, you know, just to give it separation. So now we've got everything's in, and so after this it goes to the solo. Yes, it's got noise on the track. I know it's got noise on the track. These are single coil pickups and there's a price you have to pay for that in a closed environment like this. Also, I've got the curtains drawn here to keep the daylight out so you can see me, the old man sitting here in his little cave. The Newcastle to Aberdeen line, Edinburgh, Aberdeen, Glasgow, goes past the end of the garden here. Just you know, I don't know how many foot away. So I get a lot of interference from the overhead wires as well. So, you know, like I say, you do what you can with what you've got. Now there's that piano part which I double up on the guitar, the tango part. That's it, you see. I mean, there's one thing I've learned over the last, I mean, I realised now that, you know, I was talking in the previous video about the Heaton CD, the acoustic CD with the Loudon, which is some of you have been kind enough to buy the MP3 and some of you have been kind enough to buy the CD. There's a delay because of Christmas. Watch the previous video. Watch to the end and I'll tell you how I make a cup of tea. And so this is going to be an album. Once I get Heaton pressed on CD, which will be before the end of December, I'm going to put this on a CD, a small run. And it's going to be called Holiday of a Lifetime. And there's about 10 or 12 tracks there. And a lot of them are YouTube tracks. Some of them aren't. Some of them are YouTube tracks. And if you buy it, you can listen to it in your car or you can put it into your phone. And I don't make any money off YouTube. And so, you know, that would be a nice way for me to maybe get a little bit of money back in to upgrade and maintain the software and buy sets of strings. There is a maintenance to all of this besides the outlay, which has taken 30 years so far. But I'm in for keeps, I'm in for life. If you don't buy it, I won't stop. That doesn't mean to say you shouldn't buy it. So, you know, that's more or less it. So we'll have a look. Let's have a look at the output here. What have we got? Well, I'll tell you what we've got, ladies and gentlemen. We've got the Sand Ultra channel strip. And this has, it's just compression, some EQ boosts here and there. It's what's called a bus. It's what's called a bus channel. And you see, for those of you who don't know that, and I know a lot of you will, I already knew that. Well, some people, not everybody knows that. You see all these channels here. You see all of these channels here. That's the Telecaster, that's the Strat, that's the bass, that's the drums, this, that and the other. They all go through this one channel here, down here. It's called the bus channel because it's like a bus that takes everything to the next place. It's exactly the same word as the bus that you catch into Newcastle city centre to have 8 pints and a scrap. So that's it. You know, as I was going to say before I distracted myself, I'm not as I'm finding it easier to do less with these. And when I say do less, I'm talking about the arrangements and the parts. I'm not saying do less as far as attention to detail and getting it right. I spend as much time on a simplistic, easy, spacious, sparse track as I do on something complex and like Wet Brain off the Light album. That's a very complicated track. I spent as much time on a very simplistic track as this because I want to make sure I've got it right. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed it. There's there's some slight differences in chord changes and stuff like that. Don't need to talk about that particularly. I hope you enjoyed it. Please stick around. Today is Wednesday, the 18th of December. I'm going to be doing a Christmas 2024, 22nd of December 2024, Christmas bumper, Christmas special, Sunday night, usual thing, live stream, and you're all welcome, and I'll be putting up a link in the next couple of days, before Sunday anyway. So thank you very much. I hope you've enjoyed that, and more soon. Thanks. Bye-bye.